Today I thought I'd talk to you about why building a niche therapy practice is probably killing many of your earnings right at this moment in time. 5 years ago, I wrote a blog post and it was called "Don't Put All Your Eggs in One Basket." And right at this moment, I am sure there are a ton of therapists out there who wish they'd taken my advice. Everyone in our industry has been pushing and preaching this idea of building niche therapy practices, being an expert in one particular area. But what they never told you is that when the bottom falls out of your market niche, your practice and your business is in big trouble. And coronavirus is now showing the weaknesses in this business approach. I've always believed that everyone should have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. I mean, I'm a member of a number of therapy forums, and during the last week or so, therapists out there are suddenly spotting that these niche businesses, which have been working fine for many years, have suddenly been getting 0 calls. And some of these people have got really big expenses and outgoings, not just for their business, but obviously in their private life as well. And with no customers, they can't afford to pay them anymore. And many are wondering how the hell are they even going to pay their room expenses, never mind anything else. Another therapist I was hearing about on one of these forums was saying they had to get a part-time bar job to tide them over. And I had to break it to them that that job is likely to be useless in the next couple of weeks as the government is likely to shut them down. This is a serious time for everyone, not just therapists. So why don't niches always work? Well, the reason is because people specialize in one particular area. And if you put everything into one area of your business, you don't realize that things can change. In my previous post, as I said about the eggs in one basket, I talked about people who'd, let's say, put all in on Google AdWords. They'd spent all their money on it and all their referral sources were coming from that one particular source. And then Google one day decides that they've not been following the rules and throws them off it. Now, all their business that was coming from that one area is dead. I've seen similar with a lot of people advertising Pinterest courses, Pinterest marketers, and they're boasting how 86% of their traffic comes from Pinterest. That's fantastic. What happens when the Pinterest algorithm changes? Nobody should be relying on one particular source for their income, because if you do, you're creating a weak business. And boy, are there some weak businesses out there at the moment in the therapy markets. A few weeks ago, well before all this really kicked off, we were a bit of ahead of the game. Myself and Steve Norton, who's in the anxiety niche, we ran a Facebook live session on what was currently going to happen with coronavirus and basically pre-warning people what they needed to do. And you can watch the videos. I'll put the links below so you can get hold of those videos on my YouTube channel. Now, it was obvious to me that Steve was in a great niche at this particular moment, anxiety. Because of all the turmoil and the stress and the panic that everyone is experiencing, some people are going to be suffering with their mental health over the next month or two. And he's going to be one of the therapists who's hopefully going to continue to get clients. But there are other niches which are probably tanking right at this moment. And here's some that I could just think about off the top of my head. Hypnotherapy. Pregnant women are going to be totally freaking out at the moment at what could happen to their unborn child if they catch the virus. Many are already staying away from hospitals. So what chance have you got of actually running sessions with these people, especially now the government has classed them as a high-risk clients? Then you've got weight loss, time for people wanting into their bikini bodies. They're going on a holiday, they want to lose weight. And women especially flock to go on diets all the time to look their best. But this year, everyone's more worried about getting toilet roll and tins to survive. So this niche is going to be suffering as well. Obvious one here, as you can see from the picture, fear of flying sessions. Flights are getting cancelled every day at the moment. The airline industry is on its knees. So don't expect a sudden flood of calls about this when normally you'd be hearing from people right through from spring and summer on this niche. Exam hypnosis or help in that area, with schools shutting in the UK on Friday and probably already shut in many places around the world. Exams are on hold, so no one's going to be looking for that help at the moment. Then we think about children's therapy. I know that many parents are extremely worried about their children, even at the best of times. My local Facebook group is going crazy about the thought of coronavirus, and people in my local town don't want their children out and about at all, never mind seeing a therapist. My guess, unless it's something extremely urgent, these sessions are going to be parked. Then we've got things like public speaking, with firms deciding to increase social distancing and more home working. Starting to speak in public is just not happening. Don't expect to see people for that. These are just some example of weak niches in the current market, and I'm sure there are many others. If you're one of the people who is just focused on one of those niches, you're going to be in trouble for the short term. And I would have thought most therapists are going to be in trouble anyway at the moment with the likelihood of a recession. But my gosh, you're really in trouble if you put all your eggs into the hypnobirthing market at the moment, because you aren't going to have any classes at all, is my guess. You might not know it, but I used to be a trader in the city, a senior one at that. And I want you to be familiar with the term hedging your bets. As a former trader, this was something that I used to have to do daily on the trading floor. And it simply means taking two completely different and opposite actions to protect your money. So if one of your trades went bad, you knew that the opposing trade would come good. Therapists could learn a lot from traders. Here is the deal. You do not absolutely need to go all in on one niche and one niche only. This is a very bad idea, as many people and therapists are starting to see right now. What you need to do is to appear the expert, and maybe not appear is the word for it, to be the expert in a number of different niches. Now, you don't need 100, but 2 or 3 opposing niches, so that if one starts to have a problem, you can switch to the other. And this means potentially having maybe a couple of different websites, or maybe also hedging your locations where you work in, so that you have websites in different areas as well, so you can cover a number of bases. If one of your areas or one of your locations or niches starts to go bad, you always have the others to call upon. A niche therapy practice can actually involve multiple niches, and this is what people aren't telling you. You also need to have adaptability, and you can only do that when you're able to set up a therapy website fast that converts clients right now and can be changed according to market conditions. That you know how to run pay-per-click ads such as AdWords or Facebook that can be adapted in minutes to bring you the customers you need, and how to blog so you can start to attract more business fast. These things can be learned, and I teach them in my online courses. And to give you an idea on how this is working for me, I currently built a new website at the beginning of the year. It is not even very old. It hardly would feature normally in Google or any major search engine. But I blogged about coronavirus anxiety well over a month ago, before most people were really thinking about it in the mental health sector. That blog is getting me a steady stream of website visitors daily, and I only started that relatively recently. But you have to know how to blog correctly to do this. But once you do, you're on a roll, and this technique can be applied to any niche or product. And let's talk about passive income. How many therapists have even bothered to set up passive income products for their website? At this moment, that could make a huge difference for some therapists. I will go back to the hypnobirthing niche again. That's about to crash. any moment if it hasn't already. No pregnant woman is going to want to come into your hall or your venue at the moment to practice these techniques. But what if you could offer an online class, or you'd built an online course on the topic that could be sold online? Now you can still sell your product, but you can do it not just locally, but worldwide. That product could insulate you from a loss of not only face-to-face income, but it could help you surpass your current earnings because you're moving from a local to a global business. You have to think bigger sometimes. It isn't always about niche local therapy practices. And creating these products and services that can be used online can help to grow your business. You can find that it's going to help you from, the customers that are currently drying up on the face-to-face basis at the moment. I want you to start to also think about risk. I want you to go to your business, and even if it's all going horribly wrong now, you need to reassess and regroup. I want you to ask yourself the questions: what would happen if my website got attacked by hackers tomorrow? What would happen if the clinic that I'm working in suddenly shut up shop? What would happen if, and these are the questions you need to ask yourself, and then you need to put in place strategies to make sure that if something does occur, you are half prepared for it. Now, of course, we couldn't have all been prepared for the coronavirus, outbreak, a worldwide pandemic. It hasn't been seen in a generation, but you could be adaptable, and that's the thing. You could move quickly and you could start to change your business model fast to attract the clients that you need in through your door. I'm hoping this is helpful, and I wish everyone the best out there at the moment. I may be doing some work on creating something for therapists regarding how to get through this crisis, and I might be doing that over this weekend and putting it out there. I'll let you know as soon as I've got something ready so that you can look through it. So I wish you all the best, and stay safe.